Well, hello everyone. I am Matt Williamson here from my St. Vinny's dorm room. Quick little note, there's no practice during the day today. I'm not going to Friday Night Lights. I have to sneak home tonight, but I will be back to watch Saturday and Sunday's practices post Friday Night Lights and probably give you some sort of report in the meantime. But I won't be getting a podcast to you tomorrow. I will be finding out all that happened, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to miss anything really that happened at Friday Night Lights. I just can't go tonight. I need to get home. So no big deal. Yesterday's practice was after two physical padded practices, the first two back, after the acclimation process. This one was much, much lighter. It was not padded. They rested pretty much all the top dogs. I mean, not Pickett, but like Salamalu and Allen Robinson and, obviously the big hitters. Minka is still not here. So they really want to get a look at the young guys, the bottom of the roster guys. And I know that sounds counterproductive to some of you, but one of the, more so than ever in the NFL, one of the head coach's main jobs is getting his stars and starters to the starting line, getting there for week one. You don't want to lose guys before that, and while keeping them physical and in shape, which doesn't seem to be a problem here. But you also, in these three preseason games, you need guys that can play, and you might find a Jaylen Warren. You're going to uncover somebody that is going to help this team, whether it's opening day or pulling them off the practice squad in week 10. It's a long, rough season. It's a war of attrition. So a lot of these, quote, throwaway guys are important. Some of them are going to show up and have to play snaps. The other injury note I wanted to mention was Lamarvin Leal did not practice, but it doesn't seem serious. Just kind of watching him, he looks like he's fine. Like if they were playing Sunday, I think he would play. A couple big notes from practice. And I'll be honest, I'm doing my best to uncover these no-name guys that are shining. And there's a couple that are sort of catching my eye. But it's not like last year with Jaylen Warren where it's like, ooh, who's that? I want that guy. But the two big events of yesterday's practice were 7 shots, which they always do, is a tight red zone, O versus D, 1 versus 1. And the defense clearly won. I think it was 5-2. I don't have it in front of me, but it was not particularly close. The defense played very well. And again, that's no Cam, that's no Watt, that's no Minka. But, there's no Allen Robinson, there's no Deontay, So, it's a 1.5 versus 1.5 situation. But the one thing I noticed about the offense was there were plays to be made. And again, the defense outplayed them. But they just looked a little off. A pass would be 6 inches too far off the fingertips or a little low, or someone would run not crisp enough route, or they were just a little off from being quite good. Take that for whatever you want. It's August 4th. That was August 3rd. So nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect in week 3 either, or week 13. But the highlight really of the practice was this was their first 2-minute drill. And they'll do that periodically through camp, maybe once a week, every 5 days, something like that, where they put ones versus ones. They say you have X amount of time on the clock, minute and a half, whatever it is, 1 timeout, and you need a touchdown. Field goal's not going to do it. So you're live and you're spiking the ball and you're running and you're trying to get out of bounds and you're using that timeout. So all those things. And if you turn the ball over, the drill's done. If you score a touchdown, drill's done. If you run out of time, drill's done. So 2 rookies really shined there. Had moments, really memorable moments. And in the 2-minute drill, Pickett was moving the team well and threw an out route to White, who keeps showing up. That guy's just a quality player that does a lot for you. He's not special, but he helps. But anyway, he throws an out route to White, and Porter Jr. makes a spectacular play to pick the ball off. Lays out those long arms, those huge hands, kind of horizontal to the field, snags the ball, stays in bounds, interception, drill over, defense wins. Phenomenal. Really phenomenal. And Earlier in the practice, he made a great play down the sideline against Pickens. Those two have been battling like crazy. Just throwing over him on deep balls is tough. I mean, he's like throwing over an oak tree. But really good practice for him. He's starting to come into his own. You can see that the team and defense is rallying around him. And another note, I think there was only one other, at least that I've seen, Pickett interception this whole time, and that was on a tip ball. So it wasn't a bad, I think this was more of a great defensive play than a bad pick from Kenny. So encouraging stuff from Porter. Encouraging stuff in the next series with the two from another rookie in Darnell Washington. So Trubisky, which is a bit of an advantage. Side note, I think you might want to bet the Steelers in preseason football this year because, watching the Hall of Fame game last night, the Steelers can trot out Trubisky and then Rudolph for the whole game and a pretty high quality number 2 offensive line. So anyway, Trubisky, though, working with 2s and 3s versus defense versus 2s and 3s, didn't mow him down. It was competitive. But as they started moving the football, he went twice to Washington. Washington made a real nice catch, kind of contorting, get down the field in the middle of the field. And then he made a highlight reel catch to win it for him, to score. It was about 25-ish yards out, running right down the seam like a big weapon that runs well at the combine. Mitch hits him in stride, shrugs off a guy, gets right to about the 1 yard line, falls in because they're not tackling totally. So I guess there could be a slight dispute. Would he have gotten in? The answer is yes. He's 270 pounds with a head of steam, making contact on the 1 yard line with a 200-pound defensive back at most. He would have definitely got in. Tomlin agreed, put the hands up, win for the offense. And I'd like to see more of that from Washington. I mean, not that he hasn't done it. It's just there's only so many opportunities in a practice. There's only so many passes to go around. And that's going to be an issue with this offense overall. There's a lot of mouths to feed. But him running down the seam is intriguing, really intriguing. Quick break here, and then I want to talk about another Steeler tight end. All right, I am back, and TouchdownWire.com does a good job. I've actually written for them a little bit way back when. Doug Farrar and company are very good football people, and they've been putting out their lists, best position lists, all that. Well, tight ends came out this morning, and I was a little shocked and pleased that Pat Freiermuth was 6th on their list. TJ Hawkinson was 7. And Dallas Goedert was 5. I mean, that's a neighborhood you want to be in. They're similar. All those guys are similar players. They're not just receivers, just blockers. They're all really good athletes, but not elite. So I thought this was a good way of looking at, Freiermuth. And I just wanted to kind of read some of the things they said about him because they dug up some good numbers. So the NFL is more of a passing league than it ever has been. And you have to adjust for eras when you do things like this. But still, it's quite something that after just 2 seasons with the Steelers, since the team selected him with the 55th pick in the 2021 draft, Freiermuth already ranks 4th among Steeler tight ends in targets. This is all time. 5th in receptions, 6th in receiving yards, and 6th in receiving touchdowns. Not bad for a guy on a franchise that's been around since 1933. And that's after 2 years. And I know tight end probably isn't the strongest position in Steeler history. It isn't. But I found that kind of eye-opening. But this is even better. This is more relative to today. Last season, the Steelers' passing game could generously be referred to as restrictive. I think we'd all agree on that. But Freiermuth caught 63 passes on 96 targets for 732 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was a big play machine when big plays were allowed to happen. And in this case, we'll drill down his stats against zone coverage. That's what I was interested in. Just versus zone, he had 45 catches on 58 targets for 504 yards. Like all of the NFL's top tight ends, and this is 100% true, you have to be a zone beater at that position, and the great ones that fade away really slow, like Heath Miller. I mean, Gates, Witten, guys that can't even run anymore, know how to beat zones, and Freiermuth already does. So like all NFL's top tight ends, Freiermuth has an instinctive understanding of how to open up zones, as he showed on this 47-yard catch against the Falcons, in which 48 yards came after the catch. He's no picnic to bring down when he has the ball. And then they have a video here of that play against the Falcons. They also have a video that, unfortunately, I can't show you at the moment, but a skinny post against the Dolphins in Week 7. And if you need a tight end that can unravel a linebacker or safety up the seam, kind of like we was talking about with Washington, Freiermuth has no issue doing that, as he showed on that play I just referenced. He also showed a knack for winning contested catches and taking the ball even when he's about to encounter contact. I agree with that assessment wholeheartedly on Freiermuth, and I think he looks better than ever. I thought he was their best player on offense last year, and his game translates to long-term success, especially that zone-beating stuff. So thought that was good. Thought you'd like that. Not sure when you'll hear from me. It won't be tomorrow. Probably get you something Sunday morning or something after a Saturday practice. Was not sure on that. But enjoy. Have a great weekend. See you.